mark your calendars. If you're in a relationship, tell your girl that you're on D&D. If you're at work, put that PTO in.
Yeah, get your priorities in line.
It's finally here, man. We got NCAA, because I'm going to still call it NCAA, even though it's called College Football 25.
Right.
We got NCAA finally coming out. It's been a long time. A decade for us. You know, so us growing up on the PS2, on the PS3, on the PS5, on the PS whatever. We grew up playing this game, Road to Glory, you know, thousands of hours, trying to win Heisman's, making rebuilding Texas State, playing in the Idaho Dome Stadium, like all the core memories of the game. And it was finally released. You have on the cover Travis Hunter, Donovan Edwards, and Quinn Ewers. And you obviously have, you know, just a beautiful trailer that was unveiled yesterday. Yeah. It showed the tradition, the pageantry of college football. I mean, I think they nailed it. They highlighted everything you wanted to see. It was not too much. It was not too much. It was not too little.
Nice tease.
You saw, I mean, and I watched it like 12 times. Like you go through, watch it, you see the entrances, the detail of it, right? You also see, you know, now they have like, since college football has changed since the last game was made, you have like the turnover celebrations. Yep. They added that into the game. Yep. They have the pants or the
pants above the knee.
All the little details,
attention to detail.
The long hanging shirt out of the pads, that, you know, the swag, you know, they have all the little details nailed. Even with like, I'm an OU guy, right? And I've been to DKR a couple of times, but even when they show Quinn throwing the ball in that clip,
the new end zone,
bro, I paused it and I was looking at the stadium and I was like, bro, this looks like real life.
Yeah.
You know?
It looks as real as it gets.
Even 12th man. I was like, look at the Aggies. Like, they look real.
Yeah. They captured everything. Yeah. They captured the pageantry, the atmospheres, the attention to detail as far as uniforms, the player names, obviously, now being a thing. You don't have to do it and insert it yourself. And as Cam was saying, you know, I can piggyback off of every single thing he said. There isn't a game in my life. Obviously, we grew up in a gaming generation, really like, not the first of that, but the generation that it is now and how it's taken off with technology. We grew up in the heat of that. And there's not a game that I ever played more in my life. I've spent more hours. Man. And I know it's a cool thing to say now because it's a popular topic and the game's coming back. I think I'm in the 1% of the world of hours put into NCAA
like, I'm talking
games.
about creating, like, I literally created teams and just played with those, like, made teams up.
Built powerhouses,
even renaming, because they used to be QB8, right? Like renaming them, going through the magazines, you know, that would come out every year before college football, and looking at, you know, the rosters and making sure everyone's name was spelled right, the height and weight, making it as realistic as possible. Like,
my dad used to buy memory cards for the PS2 that had the uploaded rosters on it, and then obviously like the consoles changed and we were able to download the rosters, so we used to do it anyways, and that ultimately ended up being really what killed the game for a decade. And like you said, so much has changed, and there's so much to the game that, like, we obviously, like, fans of NCAA football are clearly tapped into and want to know about, like, especially the dynasty mode, which is the bread and butter of the game. And I think you mentioned, they did a good job of capturing just excitement and like a tease of all of the changes of college football that are going to be implemented into this game. And it's been 2 consoles. The last game was the PS3 and 360 that it was on, and now we're at the PS5, Xbox Series X era of society. And so I can't wait to see what gets unveiled in the coming weeks of a deeper dive into these game modes. They've hinted at it on the website. They talk about, obviously, they're going to add Ultimate Team to the game, which is probably the most popular mode on Madden. But I think as college football fans, we care so much more about the deeper part of it and building programs. And I can't wait to see. They've already told us that NIL will obviously be a factor in your dynasty modes and even your career mode as a player. I can't wait to see how that works, that aspect. And obviously, hopefully, they continue to have the coaching carousel. Because just like the transfer market is a massive discussion and topic in college football 24/7, coaches staying and leaving and going to other programs that they think are better for them. Even sometimes, you know, you got Sonny Dykes going from SMU to TCU. If you have an in-state school that you think is more resourceful or better for you to do that, and the dirtiness of that, I want that to be into the game. You know, see what the gameplay is like. Obviously, I think they created a new engine. That's going to be exciting to test out and fill. But I think it's one of those games that it has the potential to be so deep, and it traditionally was growing up on it.
Yeah, it was always deeper than Madden.
That you don't even have to good. The gameplay could have been bad on some years, and you're still going to put hours into the game because you're roster building and trying to, flip programs. You got there's more schools in this game. You could take Sam Houston State to the top and turn them into a powerhouse program. You could do all kinds of shit. And so, like you said, it's going to be a summer full of hours. I'm planning on Twitch streaming the game. I think we both have plans.
We're going to start a league too. Like it's up to 32 user rosters. So like we're going to do a league within obviously our media company, but any friends of ours that are creatives and things like that, make it more of like a creative centric league. So where we can make content, around the game, obviously streaming as well and things like that. But as Shonee was mentioning, going to be making content, going to be streaming. I've already I've been playing Revamped on my PC. I literally loaded it up yesterday because I was just like, bro, I just got to play something.
I have it on my PS3. I have a jailbroken PlayStation 3 and still play NCAA 14 with updated rosters and the Revamped. So that's there's if of all games, you know what I mean? If all sports games, I should say, obviously 2K has a massive fan base, and there's some other games to show and stuff that loyal people have been playing it forever. But I think this is the most cultic, if you will,
for sure,
of sports fan base.
You
gaming
see, if you're a guy and you weren't posting this on your story yesterday, when it got revealed, did you really miss it? Did you really miss it? It's something about and even the value, right? You pay, because everyone's like, oh my gosh, $150. I'm like, bro, the value of $150, you pay that, you're getting NCAA, you're getting Madden, because you need Madden, you want to import your Road to Glory player into the NFL and continue their career. You want to be able to do that. And
you can do so much with that.
You're getting two games. Normally, if you bought Madden and NCAA by themselves, especially now with gaming prices, you're spending that $150 anyway. But you're not only getting two games, we're getting all the add-ons. You're able, if you're an Ultimate Team guy, you get to pick one legend from all 134 schools to add onto your team. So it's
I just hope the recruiting is as deep as it can possibly be.
Oh my gosh.
I just want dirty recruiting on the high school level, on the transfer portal level. If you had to, and they've had plenty of time to make the game, and I'm glad that they delayed it even a year because I'm sure that the if they would have released the game last year, it just would have been a really. If you wait a decade for a game, you need to hit a home run. So give yourself the time. I will sacrifice elements of gameplay and stuff to make sure that the recruiting and that aspect is on point, because I think that's the bread and butter of it right there, is the recruiting part of the game, how fun that was, the phone calls that you would have with recruits, the things they would look for. And even back in the day, they used to have, you could break rules and send kids T-shirts and stuff that.
It was like a promised playing time. They come to your school and then they sit on the bench or
they
transfer out. And
now it could really.
Now we have a portal, an actual portal, and think about it, online Dynasty. You're in there with your friends, and it's you got a freshman receiver that you recruited, low 3-star kid. You end up breaking the system. You make him have 1,200, 1,300 yards. You just throw him the ball. You're trying to develop the kid. And then your homie in the Dynasty tampers, gets him from you.
Right.
It's
that, the online tampering and taking transfers, that's going to be fucking electric.
Yes.
Getting transfers from your friends' teams on an online Dynasty, that's going to be this should be the greatest game mode in sports games, period. Especially with the 30-team online. And I don't think that there's ever been a better. Because EA, they make Madden as well. The NCAA creators have always been so tapped in, I think, with their fans and what they want, and if that stays that way, this game will never end. I have multiple friends that with families and kids now that haven't been gaming that are gonna buy a PS5 for this
just
game
for
sure for this game.
There's Carlos, PC guy only. He's literally about to buy an Xbox just to play this because he's I have to play it.
You have to.
You can't miss out on it.
And you can't be talking about college sports. There's probably an age cap. There's some older guys that probably never played video games that it's cool. But you can't be our generation talking about college sports, have a college football podcast, and not be fucking obsessed with the NCAA.
Yeah, and what's some of the cool things we're gonna go into it a little bit. They have this wear and tear system. So as in college football, assessing risk and injury. If you got a running back and you're giving him 40 carries, don't expect him to be, breaking off 20-yard gash runs in the fourth quarter.
Or even managing. You got 2, 3, 5-star running backs on your team.
Yeah.
You got to get them touches.
Got to get them touches. Keep them hot, keep them. Because, we talk about that all the time. It's running back up by committee. It's all right, well, if a kid has 3 touches a game, you got this other back that's becoming a workworkhorse, 15, 25 touches a game. It's
because trust me, if I see Cam's got a 5-star with 10 touches through 5 weeks of the season, I'm gonna start tampering.
Got to. You got to. And then the home field advantage, it's always been a big thing in college football. Like, that's so key. Like, I mean, that really is what separates college and the NFL is going on the road in the SEC or to like a Penn State.
Right.
You know, that is what makes college football so special.
And I was so excited about that because, like, if you've played have you played Madden recently?
Yeah.
You know how they have, like, they kind of have home field advantages and stuff. It's, that's when they started doing that on Madden, like, it could be a frustrating thing to deal with, especially Madden. Yeah. But that was my immediate thought was this would be electric on a college football game because it would actually make sense.
Makes sense.
You're at Death Valley on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
It should be fucking chaotic to try to get plays off or to understand, you know, it'll mess with your play art and stuff like that. Like, that's super exciting.
And even like with the Road to Glory, like apparently in Road to Glory, you can, you know, create your own image off the field or on the field. You got to manage your GPA, you schedule events and things like that. So you're actually reliving or living through the college life, right? Yeah. You're going through all that, right? You're especially now NIL. There's kids that got to manage practice, got to manage their personal life, got to manage school, and then obviously now with NIL, there's obligations that you got to attend to. If you got to do a podcast for someone, if you got to do some kind of brand deal or brand you got to like manage
your brand, or maybe if you transfer to a school, and I'm sure that the career mode will continue to grow by the game every year.
I think you can transfer in Road to Glory too.
You can transfer. Like, I want to see one down the line, whether it's on this one or not, I want to see being recruited out of high school, like this, because 2K's done this a little bit. Literally, when you go to college before you go to the NBA, where you get recruiting pitches from each school, like have that implemented into the game, and then as well as the transfers. Like, say you transfer to a school, there's NIL obligations in real life that people have when they transfer. Whether it's you got to do an ad for this Toyota or whatever, make that part of it. Like you're signing transfer deals, NIL deals that you got to manage while also making sure you don't fall behind the eligibility line in the classroom. That's fucking sick. And the last thing too, before we get into other stuff like they're adding, this was such a big part of me learning schematics of football growing up was playing NCAA.
Yeah.
So that's another reason.
You see it firsthand, and now as you advance your football knowledge, now it's like, okay, you run this coverage. It's like, I know where to go with the football, especially if you play DB or quarterback. Yeah. So it's like the hardest people to play in NCAA are going to be ex-DBs or ex-quarterbacks. Yeah. Because they know what to do either on both sides of the football. They know how to attack. Even as I never played quarterback, but I know where to go with the football. I know where the defense is going to be weak if I'm calling zone or whatever. So, yeah, I'm super excited. Some additional other things that they have on here is I'm going to kind of go through the list. We're going to go through like the game modes, right? They got Dynasty. You can obviously create your coach, build a powerhouse program, but this time what's different is you're able to establish your coaching staff. I think in the past you weren't able to actually bring in your, assistants or your coordinators and things like that. It was kind of just like some random name.
And I even think Madden drops the ball on that, big time. Like not having the coordinators and the OCs and DCs on there. There's no reason to not get the licensing from as many coaches as you can, or create generic ones. But it's just such a big aspect of football, especially college football.
100%. So you're able to do that. You can recruit the best talent. Transfer portal, as we mentioned, and you can obviously grow your program. Road to Glory. As we mentioned, you live your life as a college student. You manage your weekly schedule, GPA, and your image, and you earn coach trust to get on the field more. And then you can also hit the portal. So it's for example, you can create, if you're creative too, if you make content, you can get creative with the storylines. You can be like, I had offers from Texas and A&M, and then I got into trouble in high school, so I had to go to JUCO, and then I ended up at Texas State.
You can implement GTA role play into this shit.
Yeah, it's like I got to go to Texas State. And
we need somebody to create a GTA role play server for fucking college football, that it's just that, college campuses.
You just walk around, you record that, you take clips, you put them in
get into some trouble,
exactly.
Type shit.
And then you got Ultimate Team, right? Obviously, people are indifferent about Ultimate Team because of microtransactions and things like that. I personally don't really care because I'm just so excited about the game. I'm going to play the hell out of every game mode. And Ultimate Team is cool. If you're a fan of college football, I could have a team that has, Kyler Murray as my starting quarterback, and then I have Adrian Peterson as a running back, and then I'm throwing the ball to I don't know, some random receiver that played, maybe Odell Beckham or something like that from LSU. Odell Beckham, that's the cool thing about having that team. Then you have a team with Sean Taylor as safety, and then Deion Sanders at corner,
Herschel Walker
running back.
Joe Montana quarterback type shit.
That's fire. You got these college players who were college phenoms before they were NFL phenoms, and I think there's also people that were just only good in college.
And even if you grew up with trading cards and shit. That's like a cool element of that. It's your virtual trading card system, and you're playing with them, which is sick.
And then you have the college football playoff. Obviously, they're going to expand it. You can climb the pole, upset people, things like that. But it's going to be cool to see the implementation of the 12-team playoff, because back in the day, it was the BCS era for most of it, and I think for all of it actually, it's BCS era for all of it, and it was top 1 and 2. So like in your dynasty, and obviously this relates to real life, it's like, dang, you would lose that game, you get upset by the computer, or your friend would beat you. It's like, damn, I'm not playing for the natty. Yeah. And now like we got this 30-person dynasty. It's like there should be no reason that we all don't make a playoff, right? Especially we play in different conferences and things like that. Yeah. So that's super excited.
I wish they were able to get a little degenerate with it and add like DWIs and shit to the process, or like even like being able to like. And I think that I don't know, because they'll obviously do a deep dive on every mode before the game releases and let you know what's to come. But I think that like you should be able to manage your money. Like I should be able to spend all my NIL on VVS's and shit. Like just show up iced out at every fucking game. Like or you could be like investing your money. Or what would also be fucking cool is like carrying over that money when you get drafted to the NFL and shit. I don't know. I think that the possibilities are endless, and it's obviously not all going to like end with the very first release of the game in 10 years. But as the years go on, those two modes are endless. Like you can get creative. Look at the show, the baseball game. Road to the Show has been the fucking backbone
staple
for 15 years. You know what I mean? And they just expand on it a little bit each and every year. That's what you could do, and I love that, dude. I love living the virtual life of the life I didn't fucking live.
It's like I never played baseball, but it's like being able to go play in the minors, go to the show every year. Like you immerse yourself, especially if you're a sports person playing 2K. Like I'm not tall, like immersing yourself, making a my player, and then you go play for a team, and you're over here lighting up the scoreboard, and like that's the cool part about it. You fall in love with the sports aspect.
You got your own character. 2K has an open world. If a football game ever decides to do that, that'll be fucking awesome. Like you got an open world with your character.
That'd be cool. You play like 7-on-7 or
street. You could get tattoos. You could buy clothes. You could play the pickup games. You could fucking maybe there's all kinds of games. Like even like the F1 game, you can
you can make your own driver.
Yes, and you could talk to other teams about signing with them and shit.
Yeah, F1 is fire.
The possibilities are endless. Fucking electric summer. We're up. The City Boys are up this summer.
We're up.
The video game's gonna be fucking electric. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for everything to come. College football is on top of the world right now.
It's on top of the world. And with that being said, if you guys